Welcome to the program. We begin on a rather sad note as 3 male pupils and a female teacher of the Ampia Memorial School in Nkoko have been confirmed dead after a fatal motor accident that occurred at Nkoko on the Kumasi-Accra Highway late Thursday afternoon. A Nissan patrol vehicle, said to be the official vehicle of the District Chief Executive for Achuma Kwangoma in the Ashanti Region, Prince Kakari, is said to have crashed into a Hyundai minibus on which they were. Eyewitnesses say the driver of the vehicle attempted an unapproved U-turn whilst driving on the shoulders of the road from the Accra-Kumasi direction at a spot near Nanchia. All the victims, including the female teacher identified as Dorcas Dede, died while receiving treatment at the Family Teaching Hospital, Holy Family Hospital at Nkoko after being rushed there. The accident occurred at about 3:30 p.m. at the victims of the pupils of Ampia Memorial School and their teachers, numbering about 23, and the driver identified as Eja Ofosu Ado, were returning home after close of school. Let's hear from Adom FM reporter who narrated the incident to my colleague Samuel Kujo Brace.
Ampia Memorial School, on bus, I'm going to go on a door more Omufi, into Office. You see, main road, no, a crab, a Kumasi main road, no, bypass now on Kokon. We see more pena, DC Bakwa, or Achuma, Pangoma, Neka, and on Betako Kumasi, and then Beshia, and then Nakofaswa, Sabe, incident in Achuma.
Then Musha, Hono, a branch, a deomu, so Obihu Nanim, Babro Sikwa and one as a dang. A
Hono branch of answer free school with the sister bypass Nimana. In fact, when we because self main road near Banwa, Hono, before Kakao, on to Bobby Pony Pia, now Hono, so will be a Simua. Not so at top speed, I want to control, and to be a
and assembly see, no, Yehu, go for saying a pra, and a pranon so a need to say, and go for saying a
no prayer yet, any past in a few, and the business of paper, but ye do room I had no hospital, no administration. Yes, as now, there is too early, some bet me a brief year, but the idea the cooking and say, and Paramians and no form, and Madame Barton so with that. And if I never critical condition, they mean him and in car, a baby tenor on condition and what in high.
And to us, or more would know, then our day cancel more. Doctors and I can't, and I then.
Doctors Mancasan can train, but the Yomu or the Adjustro, Omu, baby, I treat you in the Mambato. Emergency or more, and we are there. And we are treating the do of conditions in the soul and doctor and nurses and one other.
Now, Okas or more prepare no more than more dino, triumph for any year, and just then I owe Muntia office more deep. Or why unconscious and to me that the one who didn't move back, mump and agility, oxygen in the soul. That's the way I want that one to say, Yamia Moa Mokrano. It didn't bet much from
Let's stay a while on this issue and go to our resident correspondent in the Ashanti region, Ohimiteria, who's joining Vazum for more. Ohimi, welcome to the program. What more can you tell us from this devastating incident?
Yes, thank you. For now, the information we are picking from the hospital is that one more school pupil has lost his life, bringing the death toll to 4 for the students, and then one teacher. The details is a bit scanty, but what I'm learning is that the people who lost his life, the recent one, was among 3 of the people who were referred from the Ejapa Hospital to the Kofodia General Hospital. So whilst on their way to Kofodia, the ambulance which they were traveling on developed a fault, and then the condition of the boy worsened. So the medics around that time had to seek a refuge at the NJC Government Hospital. But unfortunately, efforts by the medical team on duty to save the life of these people proved futile, bringing the death to in the Koko Nanchia accident to 5, consisting of 4 pupils and a female teacher for now.
Very unfortunate incident there. Himiteria is our correspondent in the Ashanti region. Thank you very much. Let's head to Parliament now, where the Deputy Majority Leader, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, yesterday blocked the third reading of the anti-gay bill, which would have seen the passage of the controversial bill. Afenyo-Markin is clear he's not against the principles of the bill and, in fact, supports it. However, he's opposed to jailing people who are accused of engaging in or promoting LGBTQ activities. Our Parliamentary Affairs correspondent, Kwiku Asante, has more in the following report.
Had it not been for a last-minute maneuvering by Deputy Majority Leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin, the House was all but set to pass the controversial anti-LGBTQ bill today. The Deputy Majority Leader was on his feet to move a motion for the second consideration of this bill. He is still opposed to imposing custodial sentences. He is opposed to jailing people for engaging in LGBTQ or promoting the LGBTQ activities. He says, instead of imposing custodial sentence, how about fines? He insists he is not opposed to the principle of the bill, but he does not believe people must go to jail for this.
To jail a person for his sexuality or her sexuality would not be the solution in maintaining our Ghanaian family values and ensuring proper human sexual rights. Mr. Speaker, in the list, such individuals who get into our jails become worse off. Mr. Speaker, as a law student, in my final year at Makola, upon visiting in Sawom with my colleagues, it became clear that inmates were being sodomized. It became clear that people were rather getting deeper into that habit and that behavioral aspect of our culture that we dislike. I dare say, Mr. Speaker, that will be retrogressive should we insist as a House on a third reading with these incarceration provisions in the bill.
Well, quite surprisingly, the sponsors of the bill were not opposed to this. They actually lent their support to this motion. We first heard from the Minority Chief Whip, Gavin Kwame Agboja, who raised some issues with the points that have been canvassed by the Deputy Majority Leader.
My colleague, yes. In fact, there's no argument against the second consideration stage. However, Mr. Speaker, I must say my colleague is abusing Order 171 because, Mr. Speaker, the last time he took to the floor for almost 1 hour and made the same arguments, and then we ended up voting.
Co-sponsor of the bill, Roxy Nelson Dafamekpo, was also on his feet to back this position, but also express some misgivings about the positions shared by the Deputy Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, this is the provision my brother, the Deputy Majority Leader, relied on. Mr. Speaker, yet in his entire submission, because the proposed amendment that he intends to move is not advertised, he could not state it clearly as part of the submission. He made a very substantial submission, but it didn't come out clearly exactly which provision of the bill that he intends to be taken through the second stage of consideration.
The House put this motion moved by the Deputy Majority Leader to a vote, and it carried. The House then had to go through a second consideration stage, but not without some controversies as to what the role of the chairman of the Constitutional and Parliamentary Affairs Committee should be in all this.
That anybody would want to shy away from that. But I think I need to be given a copy of that. As I speak now, I'm traveling with the ranking member of Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs, and he is airborne now.
We've gone beyond that. I think for some time now, I've been drawing your attention to the fact that the compiled draft bill after the consideration stage has been sent to your official emails.
The House has started the second consideration of this bill. In the coming days, the House will continue. And with the rate at which the House is going, it is expected that the House will pass this controversial bill before it rises for Easter break somewhat on the 27th of March of this year. But Sam George and his co-sponsors are really opposed to the idea of removing custodial sentences from this bill. Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante, Parliament House, Accra.
Thank you very much, Kweku. Meanwhile, lead sponsor of the Proper Sexual Human Rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill, Sam George, says he's confident campaigners will defeat Deputy Majority Leader's 14-point proposals to remove all custodial sentences in the proposed bill. The Futu MP Alexander Afenyo-Markin yesterday blocked the third reading of the anti-gay bill, which would have seen its passage by today. But Ningo Pram MP Sam George also questioned whether Ghana's jurisprudence supports non-custodial sentences, such as community service.
To punish and to rehabilitate. In fact, the Ghana Prison Service is the foremost rehabilitation center in Ghana today because it is a correctional facility. Their mandate is correctional. Rehabilitation and reformation goes on in the Ghanaian prisons. When Afenyo says we should do communal service, have you asked Afenyo what legal jurisprudence in Ghana supports communal service? So you hand over an accused person who is found guilty by the courts to the judge, and the judge is supposed to sentence, and you say the judge should sentence to communal service. What is communal service?
Let's have a conversation on the back of this, and I've been joined on Zoom by private legal practitioner Kweku Pencil to share his thoughts on the contentious issue. Welcome to the show, Kweku. First of all, what is your view on the substance of the Deputy Majority Leader's argument? Is it justified?
Oh, except that in practice is doubtful. Because there are theories of punishment in law, I mean, retribution and so forth, so corrective and so forth and so on. So everybody can find an argument in law to justify the position. We are talking about Ghana. We are talking practically of any suggestion that anybody bring about. Because the issue is everything that he says with regard to this LGBTQ, whatever people, about all the other people in prison. Everybody, I mean, we are looking at a story of punishment in our jurisprudence, in Ghanaian criminal jurisprudence. There is what must there be for the gay people. And that's why I don't understand. I don't understand. The argument is every argument from law goes like cases of men in different countries who have different theory, but it's for every country having regard to its own citizens to determine what the punishment for every crime must be. Okay. Let's start me, for instance, that, I mean, what about the other people? That's the point I'm making. The examples that he used when he was in final year in law school, and what has done about that? If he hasn't done about that, why must the people who are involved in such crimes be the exception to the normal rule? That's the point that I did. Until such time that in this country we will all come to understanding as to the reformation of our criminal jurisprudence system, I wouldn't know and I wouldn't understand why the deputy majority leader, I mean, things be especially for homosexuals. Okay. I mean, that's the main point I have with him. I mean, with his case.
Mr. Pinto,
so I don't really believe that the argument that he's making can be used. Hello?
Mr. Pinto, I want you to hold on for me and bring in another private legal practitioner, Inusa Fusedi. Mr. Fusedi, welcome to the program. I want to find out from you, do you agree with the stance of the Deputy Majority Leader?
No, and I share in the views of Pencil. obviously you can't discriminate in the imposition of sentences. Now, the nearest we have to the LGBT matter in our criminal book, criminal statute, is unnatural carnal knowledge. It's a misdemeanor. We engage in unnatural carnal knowledge, it's a misdemeanor. But those who are convicted on that misdemeanor are sentenced to jail term. So how can you say that now that they have constituted these crimes under this bill to be felonies, those crimes, those punishments should be non-custodial? I mean, it doesn't sync with our criminal jurisprudence.
Right. He's also argued that sending them to prison is really not transformative enough. So there's no need to send them to prison for 3 to 6 months. So community service is the way to go.
Well, first of all, we have not yet passed the law, that alternative sentencing regime. We have not yet done that. I know that there have been discussions around the table on the community service and others, but I'm not aware of the law having made its journey to Parliament. So under what jurisdiction, what jurisprudence, under what regime will you be sentencing people convicted of LGBTQ activities to non-custodial sentences? I'm yet to be corrected, but I do not have any recollection of the bill having made its way to Parliament. Now, correctional activities take place at various fora. I mean, when we sentence people to a term of imprisonment, it is not only to punish them, it is also to correct them, to give them an opportunity to reflect over what they have done and change for the better. So the seclusion is not only a punishment, it is also an opportunity to reflect over the conduct and turn a new leaf. So it's a correctional center, as said by Sam George. Now there are other theories which are really not applicable to our jurisdiction, which are saying that such deviant conduct or such conduct should be treated as a psychological issue and not a criminal issue. But our jurisprudence hasn't yet incorporated that into our thinking, that when a person is engaged in LGBTQ plus activities, we should treat that as a psychological problem and rather give medical attention, which medical attention will require them taking them to a psychiatrist or a medical facility or somewhere for treatment than incarcerating them. But we have not gotten there. Yes.
Okay. Idris Afuseni, I want to thank you very much for your time this morning. Earlier, we also had Kweku Pencil, who are both private legal practitioners. Away from that story, Chief Justice Gertrude Tukonu has assured the Judicial Staff Association of Ghana, JUSAG, of working to ensure their conditions of service are improved. Speaking at the 50th anniversary of JUSAG, Gertrude Tukonu said the collective bargaining agreement, which was signed in 2012, is currently being implemented and has played a key role in their quest for better working conditions. In a bid to ensure the working conditions of judicial staff are improved, Chief Justice Gertrude Tukonu promised to oversee an implementation of an agreement that was signed in 2012 to that effect.
As a measure to improve welfare of staff, the Judicial Service in 2012 signed the collective bargaining agreement, condition of service for senior and junior employees of the Judicial Service, which is currently being implemented. The Judicial Council has also recognized that compliance with Article 152, 1582, 159, and 161C of the Constitution will require the activation of a constitutional instrument which will comprehensively deal with conditions of service and efficient functioning of the judicial service. On assuming office as the Chief Justice, I met the leadership of JUSAG and assured them that the Judicial Service constitutional instrument is one of my priorities for assuring better conditions of service, for assuring better conditions of work in our institution. Work on the CI is now well advanced, and the Judicial Council is keeping an eagle eye over the process to bring it to fruition.
The Chief Justice also revealed that cases can now be filed electronically, among other court services that have gone digital to ease the stress associated with in-person activities at the courts.
Is active and upscaling and moving from just having computers for typing and printing in most courts around the country. It includes e-filing and e-payment for court services, e-service of court processes, the management of e-dockets, virtual hearings of cases, and stocking and management of e-judgments through an e-library.
Affirming to the Chief Justice's statement, President of the Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana, JUSAG, Samuel Afote-Otu, said majority of the courts in Accra have gone digital. Mr. Afote-Otu added that the Chief Justice is working on expanding the digitalization drive to all courts in the country.
We have automated almost all courts, in fact, in Accra. And then other regions too, there were selected courts. But currently, the CJ is pushing that agenda everywhere in the country. So putting computers in place and then that recording gadgets, e-justice and then e-filing, we are in the second and third phase now. So I think we are on course.
The 50th anniversary of the program was under the theme 50 Years of Championing Judicial Excellence, Embracing Integrity, Digitalization and Upholding Judicial Independence and Staff Welfare. Let's bring you more stories this morning as the Tertiary Education Workers Union of Ghana has suspended its 2-week-long strike over the government's failure to pay vehicle maintenance allowances to its deserving members. TUGH on Monday, February 12, urged its members to continue the industrial action which commenced on February 1st, despite meeting with the government on February 9th. The union, in a statement, disclosed that the decision to eventually suspend the strike comes after a meeting with the National Labour Commission and representatives of government on Wednesday, February 14th. And here are excerpts of the statement, and it says the Tertiary Education Workers Union of Ghana of the public universities in Ghana declared an indefinite strike on February 1st. Leadership subsequently directed all members to continue the strike on the 12th of February to press home their demands. It continues to say that after a series of discussions with the National Labour Commission and the government, the NLC directed the union to suspend the strike action to make room for subsequent engagement with the government to resolve the vehicle maintenance allowance issue for their members. And it continues to say that, as we all are aware, the government has denied some of their members the vehicle maintenance allowance payment, which is seen as discrimination, and this compelled the union to embark on an indefinite strike. Right, let's get onto the telephone lines and speak to the national chairman for TEU, Suleimana Abdul Rahman. Suleimana, grateful for your time this morning. Finally, you've suspended your strike. Have the conditions been met?
Thank you so much. Good morning to you and good morning to your listeners and viewers. Yes, so as you rightly stated, we were invited by National Labour Commission on the 14th February 2024, and we had a series of discussions in the meeting, and finally the NLC directed that we should suspend the strike, and then as you rightly read, so that to make room for engagement with government.
Right.
And as a law-abiding union, we had a next meeting yesterday, and we passed a resolution that the strike should be suspended. And it is our hope that at the end of the day, government will give us a listening ear for us to get this issue resolved.
And were there any timelines given by government? Because earlier you mentioned that, for example, some people have cars, but they're giving motorbike allowances and so on. Were there any timelines given by government?
Yes, so we had agreed to, engage with government in about a week or two time. So very, very soon we'll be engaging with government to have this issue being resolved. And it is our hope that when we start engaging with government, NSO will put its feet down to make sure that they direct government to do the right thing.
Okay, thank you very much, Suleimana Abdul Rahman. He's the national chairman for TEU. No election headquarters this morning, John Mahama lashes the government for nepotism in security recruitment, promises to decentralize the system to enhance chances for all. Flag bearer of the National Democratic Congress, John Dramani Mahama, has promised to decentralize recruitment into the security services to create equal opportunity for prospective applicants if he regains power. At a town hall meeting at Gushegu in the northern region, the former president explained the present order where recruitments are done at the national capital is unfair. He alleges members of the ruling party are those being recruited into the security agencies. Nana Yaujima has more in the following report.
Though many young people have shown interest in joining the security services, a few are being recruited. Beyond limited opportunities, the NDC flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama, is alleging government in recent times has failed to advertise recruitment as required. He explains plans to sanitize the system.
We're going to decentralize recruitment into the security services. So we're not going to ask you to come to Accra and come and be recruited. You apply, and when you apply, the recruitment people will come here to Northern Region so that all of us will have a fair chance of being recruited into the security services. Currently, they are recruiting, but they don't advertise it. They just pick the children of MPP people and they take them and put them in the security services. And so I ask you not to despair. Your turn will also come. And when we're doing the recruitment, you also will have a fair chance of getting into the security services.
The NDC flag bearer, who is on a nationwide tour dubbed Building Ghana Tour, has focused on renewing the hope of the youth. Many young people who had the opportunity to speak at the town hall meetings have called for creation of job opportunities if the NDC is successful in taking over power. John Dramani Mahama reiterated the need for a 24-hour economy.
And the 24-hour economy is going to make sure that we double our production capacity so that more of our young people can get work to do. So industries that are operating currently, we're going to encourage them to hire more people so that they can work day and night. And so we're going to do that so that all our young people too can get the opportunity.
Meanwhile, the NDC flag bearer has cautioned the electorate to be wary of promises being made by politicians ahead of the election.
This year we're going to have elections. And we must learn the lessons of the past. There are two kinds of people. Some of them come with very sweet mouths, and they'll come and deceive you that if we win power, we'll do this, we'll do that, we'll do this. Yet it's Sikaso Ekom Dien. And there's so many things that they said. 1 village, 1 dam, 1 district, 1 factory. $1 million per constituency per year. I work at the Bank of Ghana. The money is there. All these things were said. Today, we know the reality. Another category of people will come with money, and they will come and share money to you. But if you take that money and you spend it, it will finish. And then you come back and sit in your poverty.
For joining us, Nana Yaujima reporting.
In more stories this morning, migration remains a global issue with significant societal and geopolitical implications. Addressing this and many other migration challenges, the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center has launched its 3rd edition of the Kofi Annan Peace and Security Forum on Migration. Commandant of the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, Major General Richard Adu-Jani, says mitigation of migration is not working.
Conflicts and peace building in Africa needs an exploration of how migration dynamics intersect with societal resilience in the context of a multipolar global framework. It involves examining the impact of conflicts on migration patterns in Africa and proposing strategies to promote peace and resilience within the continent. Commandant of the Kofi Annan International Peacekeeping Training Center, Major General Richard Adojani, stressed the need for state actors to get an understanding of the inconsistencies in migration procedures.
This highly anticipated event brings together prominent figures to tackle burning issues of migration and its impact on global resilience in Africa. The theme for CAS Forum 2024 is Migration and Societal Resilience in a Multipolar World Order, addressing conflicts and building peace in Africa. Why is this relevant? As political tremors shake continents, the world order transitions from a unipolar landscape to a multipolar one. The shift, coupled with recent crises in Africa, Europe, and the Middle East, is pushing migration trends to new heights. Africa is faced with armed conflict, which has created instability in countries like Ethiopia, Mali, South Sudan, and the Democratic Republic of Congo, forcing people to flee their homes. Climate change is increasingly causing droughts, floods, and extreme weather conditions, which are increasingly displacing communities, particularly in the Sahel region and East Africa. State and non-state actors are playing a complex game, leaving crucial questions unanswered. The CAS Forum 2024 convenes over 200 high-level delegates and specialists from various fields, including political leadership, governance, diplomacy, security, and academia. This diverse task force will crack the code on migration's impact on security, forging solutions and collaborations to prevent instability.
Deputy Head of Mission at the German Embassy in Ghana, Her Excellency Ms. Sivine Johnson, asserts that migration remains a pressing challenge in the world.
It is a timely theme, as migration remains one of the world's most important, complex, and pressing challenges. According to the World Development Report of last year, 2.3% of the world's population live outside of their country of origin. This puts a double strain, particularly on low and middle income countries, as they first of all have to deal with a crisis that forces refugees to leave their home, but also have to host them in other parts of the countries and create new homes for them. Germany has been a consistent partner for CAPS, both technically and financially, since its inception in 2019. CAPS Forum has become a critical regional platform that allows policymakers, practitioners, politicians, media, and academics to dialogue and explore long and medium-term solutions to emerging security threats on the African continent. This must be sustained. Germany is committed to enhancing the platform for such critical decisions.
The third edition of the Kofi Annan Peace and Security Forum will take place from 27th to 28th February 2024 on the theme, Migration and Societal Resilience in a Multipolar World Order, addressing conflicts and peace building in Africa. The forum will provide a platform for delegates and participants to explore approaches to addressing migration-related conflicts through effective policies and peace-building mechanisms in the region. Rejoice Semefa Pusu's report, read to you.
You're still watching News Desk. Now, Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PRC, has called on customers to avoid relying on middlemen and deal directly with the Volta River Authority officials for the required electrification services. Speaking at a forum in Sunyani for stakeholders, under the self-help electrification project. The Bono Regional Manager, Patrick Entry, said while the Commission works with VRA to ensure the availability of meters, consumers who encourage illegal activities will have the law to contend with. Precious Semevo has more.
The Public Utilities Regulatory Commission, PURC, and the VRA NEDCO Forum brought together stakeholders under the Self-Help Electrification Project, SHEP, in the Bono and Ahafo regions to deliberate on concerns affecting effective and efficient customer service. The government expects to have the country connected to the national grid through the SHEP project by 2030. But it is saddled with many concerns as raised by the stakeholders, including the Bono Regional Minister, Justina Osubanahini. Among the concerns are rotten poles, bills delay, power outages and delays in meter sales, leading to the use of middlemen, resulting in illegal connections and loss of revenue and lives.
Then submit and find themselves in the hands of consumers. After the obey you to not enquire there, enquire papa. Now, if you have a bed done, I mean, we consumers and you as a service providers.
The Sunyani area manager of NEDCO, Engineer Eugene Odoi Ado, wants customers to test the system since they have enough meters in stock.
I think the main driving force behind this is the sale of energy meters to unsuspecting customers in the region, and it is impacting negatively on our losses. And then it is also resulting in customers' bill getting piled up, and that's something that we think we should nip it in the bud. So it is not just because the system is inefficient. There could be some little laxity on our part because we all have challenges. But like I always say, test the system. But if you go through the system, I assure you within 2 weeks, if we all play our part where we can get your service connection.
PURC's Bono Regional Manager, Patrick Entry, called on consumers to engage service providers directly for their required services.
Most people have complained about VRA NEDCO, and if you ask them if they've been to the office before, they have never been there. And I always say, regardless of how sometimes stressful the process might be at VRA, we believe that whatever is good, whatever is bad is bad. That shouldn't encourage you to involve or get yourself involved in legal connection activities. But what we are doing as a commission also as well in the region is to make sure that all the time VRA has enough meters to supply to consumers. Now, if consumers come to you and you don't even have meters, you should find ways and means of making sure that these will get meters as soon as meters are available. Because at the end of the day, it's the meters that you use to generate your revenue to run your business. So we believe that as we are holding this forum together with VRA, it's not going to stop us from actually making sure that we monitor VRA to make sure they provide the necessary materials, the necessary meters for consumers to be able to enjoy power, so also to stop them from involving themselves in illegal connection activities.
Precious Semevo, Joy News, Sunyani.
From the Bono region, let's head to the Ashanti region, where the Kwadoso municipality in that region is among areas with the lowest family planning acceptance rates in the country because residents are failing to sign up for family planning. Health authorities are concerned that despite increased advocacy and sensitization, the area performed poorly with a family planning acceptance rate of 11.5% as against the national target of 40%. Municipal Health Director of the area says her outfit has also faced negative utterances from members of the public. There's more in this report.
Ghana's Ministry of Health is committed to increasing the modern contraceptive prevalence rates, especially among married women, from 30% in 2020 to 44.4% by the end of 2030. This is expected to be achieved through expanded method choice, improved service delivery, and enhanced data management. It is also expected to reduce the unmet need for contraception among sexually active adolescents from 30 to 57% by December 2030 through the promotion of reproductive health education, among others. But despite several efforts, including road shows to encourage residents to accept family planning, the acceptor rate is still low in the Kwadoso municipality. The area recorded a drop in family planning cases from 4,535 cases in 2021 to 4,480 cases in 2023, representing 11.5% of the total subscribed. The situation has left Municipal Health Director Grace Billy Kampitip frustrated.
So the situation in Kwadaso is quite interesting. Over the past 3 years, family planning rate has been consistently low. So in 2022, we did a lot of commodity show. We targeted the university community. You know, we went to lorry terminals, we went to churches, we targeted groups, organized groups like the Dressmakers and Tailoring Association, the Beauticians Association, but it didn't really yield much results. So for 2022, we were able to record a marginal increase. We recorded about 12.9% for family planning, and you realize for 2023, it decreased again to 11.5%, which is a worrying situation. We're also looking at re-registration of the long-term method, you know, that seeks to provide protection for a long period of time.
Ms. Kampitip spoke to Joy News on the sidelines of the Assembly's annual performance review. She said despite the setback, the Directorate will continue to engage residents at a time condom usage has also gone down among men. The municipality also saw its skilled delivery figures cut from 43.9% in 2022 to 41.2% in 2023. Ms. Kampitip says the Directorate will investigate what is contributing to the trend.
I'm very worried about the fact that skilled delivery rates is low. Okay, we have had, so we could attribute it a bit to the fact that some of our midwives have traveled out for greener pastures. However, as a municipality, the numbers that we have for midwives, especially for the government facilities, is still very good. We can't say same for the private facilities. Most of the private facilities do not have these skilled personnel, and that is the reason for which you have most of them referring cases.
Ohimi Telia's report read to you.
We have the latest in business after the break. See you in a moment.
Hi, good morning. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. As part of government's industrial transformation agenda, the Ministry of Trade and Industry has commissioned 2 business resource centers at Ekropong and Dodowa in the Eastern and Greater Accra regions, respectively, to serve as financial and investment facilitation hubs for micro, small, and medium enterprises. These 2 business resource centers are out of 19 being established across the country. Here's more in this report.
The establishment of the Business Resource Centers forms part of the realignment of the Rural Enterprises Program to fit into the National Industrial Transformation Agenda. To this end, the Ministry of Trade and Industry has commissioned the Ekropong and Dodowa Business Resource Centers in the Eastern and Greater Accra regions, respectively, to provide institutional support to assist small and medium-scale enterprises grow and improve their competitiveness. Speaking to journalists after commissioning the 2 facilities, Minister of Trade and Industry Katie Hammond said the business centers will become a one-stop enterprise support center to provide a broad range of business development services to potential and existing entrepreneurs and enterprises.
The reason for this is that we're asking prospective industrialists, entrepreneurs, people with the capital, the private sector, to venture into setting up of companies. But we thought that in the process they will require some assistance, some advice. It isn't every single one of them who might be a Ghanaian. There would have been people who would have come from outside your locality and who, for that matter, would want to have some basic idea what this whole place is all about.
On her part, Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Enterprises Agency, Kosi Yankee Aye, tells Joy Business 67 business resource centers will be commissioned by the end of the year.
Business resource centers are strategic positioned across the nation.
There are 67 that will come out in total at the end of this year. 37 are up and running, 19 are what we are commissioning now, and the following 11 hopefully before the end of the year. But really what we are expecting from it is for the youth and MSMEs to be able to go into answer questions if they have any needs, if the youth have challenges, they want to start up businesses. If we have programs that government is implementing and you come here, you should be able to have answers to be able to do it. So really, in total, this is a one-stop shop for business development that would build the businesses.
Manager of the Dodua Business Resource Center, Randolph Akwako, said the facility will be used judiciously to achieve its intended purpose.
We are here to provide the tools, skills, knowledge, and everything that businesses need to grow and sustain their business activities. And we are expecting that we are going to really impact positively into businesses in the Shire Osudoku district and other districts that surround this district.
Meanwhile, the facilities were funded by the International Fund for Agricultural Development and the African Development Bank at a cost of 3.4 million cedis. For Joy Business, Pius Kujobaka.
Now, Vice Chancellor of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Professor Rita Akosua-Dixon, is emphasizing the need for academia to develop and adopt technologies to solve emerging challenges in the agric space. With existing climate change effects and emerging challenges along the agric value chain, Professor Dixon reiterated the university's mandate in proffering technological solutions to ensure food security. She was speaking at the 70th anniversary of the Faculty of Agriculture of the KNUST.
It is instructive to note that new frontiers of agriculture have emerged, we are all aware, coupled with the negative effects of climate change and the need for climate change adaptation and mitigation strategies. All the new technologies, including artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and what have you, are going on around us. As a leading science and technology university in this country, we have a charge to keep, to ensure that technology is working for the country, for us as a university, for the country, as we keep our eyes on food security and all the issues that are related to agriculture.
Meanwhile, Deputy Minister of Food and Agriculture Yao Frimpong Ado supports calls for the imposition of ban on imported food products.
For only these two commodities, a total of 2.8 billion, equivalent to 223 million US dollars, will be saved if we reach self-sufficiency levels, in addition to the jobs that will be created. The input credit system is the main vehicle for realizing this national aspiration, as it will expand opportunities along the agricultural value chain by ensuring a strong link to a structured market under the program. In providing input credit, our farmers will be empowered to make informed choices and adopt technologies that will significantly boost their productivity.
All right, that's it for this segment. The news continues after the break.
Hello again. Now, a bus driver traveling from Kumasi made a rare discovery when his vehicle passed over a crocodile. He decided to transport the unusual find to Accra, where he intended to showcase the creature to his friends. My colleague Caleb Mensah chanced upon the display and took some beautiful shots of it. Take a look. Right, we have more stories when you log on to myjoyonline.com. The news team returns at midday with Joy News Today. My name is Kenneth Jesse. Thanks for watching. See you soon.